Hey there, friends. Dave Paulides, Can-Am Missing Project. Huck's right under the camera today. You good girl. She's a good girl. She's a good girl. She's all white and fluffy. Being good. Hope you're doing well. Happy holidays. Yes, happy holidays. Thanks for being here. We have 2 missing cases for you today, but before we get into that, we got a couple of miles to cover. First of all, some people send me some very nice cards. I don't get cards very often, but when I do, and they're with pertinent information, I think I'm going to talk about them. So, the first one says, Dave, just a little note. That part in your documentary where you're talking about Adam Davies and his experiences in the woods, American Sasquatch movie. He said he saw the long beam of light and small creatures with glowing red eyes come out of it. That's in the movie. Do you remember the fellow by the name of Chris Bledsoe? I do. His encounter was very much the same, with small beings with glowing red eyes. I just found that interesting. I didn't know that. Merry Christmas, Dave and Huck. I'm sending you blessings for a wonderful Christmas and prayers that you have a blessed New Year. May your New Year of 2026 be blessed with good health, happy times, and make you smile, joy-filled moments, strength when you need it, kindness, and many wonderful memories made. I like that. I sat down with a nice hot cup of tea last night, a nice warm blanket because our little cabin is chilly, and enjoyed watching American Sasquatch. The only thing that was missing was a pile of almond croissants that I could snack on. Those are good. Absolutely amazing, Dave. You should be proud of what you put together. A lot of time and hard work went into it, making it all happen. And you put it together so well. Thank you. Thank you for dedicating your time to bring true awareness to the subject of Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Sabe. Each and every person that shared their stories and experiences is greatly appreciated. My hope is that someday, those of us who have experienced the unknown will no longer be made fun of and ridiculed. Hold your taters. First of all, I don't think you're getting made fun of and ridiculed at nearly the rate you were 10 years ago or 20 years ago. I think a lot of that has changed. With the Bigfoot shows on TV, with many documentaries, I really don't think so. There's always going to be a small percentage that are never going to believe. But remember, your opinion is only as good as the research you put into it. And I really believe that the people that don't want to even acknowledge the Bigfoot topic have spent no time really looking into it. Because maybe it makes them scared. I don't know. By you making these documentaries, I feel you are making it possible for people to speak out about what they have seen. Making a movie is no easy task. Writing a book is easy in my mind. You sit down, takes me several months, but I do it alone. I do it at my own pace. I find my own research. Movie is entirely different. You need an entire crew. You need experts in each area. If one area falls out, the whole movie is shot. We tend to think a movie is a lot of video, visual. I personally think the audio part is just as important. And that's why each one of these little segments is critical in making a documentary. And one of the biggest is the editor, who puts all of it together in linkage that makes sense and is engaging. I greatly appreciate what you are doing. What you're doing in life is a great gift to many. The Holy Spirit works through you and it shines through you in more ways than you know. I'm proud of you, Dave. Thank you. And I know Ben is too. You can't see him in physical form, but he is right there beside you. I hope so. guiding things along and saying, "We got this, Dad." Thank you for a very nice card. That was very nice. Thank you. Got another card here. God's love shines through the hearts of special people at Christmas and always. Dear Huck, this is addressed to Huck, not even addressed to me. What is that? The present in the red bag is for you to give to your dad. You're such a smart pup. Having me order it for you from Mile High Designs so he won't catch you on his computer and ruin the surprise. Ha! I wanted to get you a more feminine one, but they only had black with the official design. You'll fit right in with all the bikers. Ha ha ha. Tell your dad I enjoyed meeting him at Sasquatch, the Native Truth in Golden a few years ago. I live in Rapid City and have some stories about unusual events I've experienced in the Black Hills. I'll eventually get around to emailing them to your dad. Send my love and prayers to Harvey Pratt and his family. Stop. Harvey's in a bad way. He needs all of us to pray hard for him. Trust me when I say this. He's an outstanding individual. We need him here. Pray for Harvey. He lives in Oklahoma. I love you, Huck. You are the best producer and prettiest. Merry Christmas to you and Dave. Love, Stardust. Thank you, Stardust. And this is very cool. Very, very cool. Check this out. Huck TV. Look at the designs they put on there. It even looks like her. That even looks like her laying on the floor. No, I really like this, you guys. Thank you. Thank you, Stardust. You're very kind. I get emails all the time from you guys. I appreciate them to no end. You don't have to send me anything. Just sending me your notes of encouragement and support are great. And the best thing you can do for somebody who puts out a documentary movie is to like it and put a review up where you watched it. That's the best reward we have, because it encourages other people. They read the reviews. And some of the books I've written, I've gotten some 1-star reviews that are they're just there to tear down the review. I mean, you get 10 5-stars and you get 1 1-star, that drags the ratings way down. So we need a lot of reviews. And I never tell people what to say in the review. Say what your heart says, because that really resonates. Thanks. Now, I've had a series of contacts in the last couple weeks that deal with American Sasquatch, Man, Myth, or Legend, available on Amazon and iTunes. And there have been some pretty interesting comments. Some people, vast majority of people have been overly complimentary, which is really good. And then some have gone after certain researchers in the movie with a vengeance, rudely. And normally, what I'll do is if somebody's just being outright rude, I'll start to read the comment and then I'll just trash it, because I don't need that in my life. But when people start going after others, that tends to get my ire up. I get mad. Because whether you believe it or not, the people that are in that movie are all stellar individuals. They aren't liars. They don't stretch the truth. And they're doing something that they have great compassion for. So the idea that you're going to write to me and tear them down, I don't get it. I don't get it. But yeah, those get me mad. But I'm not mad today. I'm not mad. What we're going to talk about is the first case is very recent. And someplace I've been to very recently. Her name is Alleacya Boulia, 26 years old, missing November 17th of this year. That's right. Very, very recently. Olympic National Park. It's her picture. She resides in St. Louis, employed, has a prior address in Chicago. It's another picture of her. On November 6th, she left Lambert Field in St. Louis for a planned, yes, she did plan a trip to Olympic National Park. She landed in Washington State. And on November 8th, she sent a text to her mom with a smiling emoji stating, "Hey, just letting you know I'm okay and I'm safe. Love you." Typical text from son or daughter to mom who's always going to be concerned about you. Now, as someone who's been in this position before, you always worry about your kids. Always. And if you're a young person out there and you get annoyed because your mom and dad worries about you, just wait till you're an adult and you have your own kids and you'll understand. But the parent isn't trying to be rude by being concerned for you. And this is a prime example of why parents are concerned. Why we like to keep track of you, especially when you're on a journey you haven't been on before and you're going into an area you're not familiar with. So I think that Alicia's mom, Angel's mom, was doing all the right things to keep in touch with her daughter. Now that was on November 8th. On November 27th, her mom couldn't reach Angel for an extended period of time. She got nervous, and she knew that the last place that Angel was staying in was Port Angeles, Washington, a place I know very well. So she calls Port Angeles police, and she reports Angel as a missing person. Port Angeles right here. Seattle would be right here. Olympic National Park is right there. This is Lake Crescent. A lot of weird stuff around this lake. But it's a beautiful drive when you leave Port Angeles and you kind of swing around this way and then you come into the back side of the park. There's also an entrance here and here. There's a lot of entrances to Olympic. But imagine how nervous her mom was calling Port Angeles police. I know her. I know the way she's feeling. Well, Port Angeles police took the report and they ran down the location where she rented her car. And what she rented was a 2025 Ford Bronco Sport Edition, black in color. Port Angeles contacted Angel's phone company and determined that her phone was last used on November 18th. She last talked to her mom on November 8th. Now this is important because now it's November 27th. 9 days later, no phone activity. Not normal for a 26-year-old girl. The police department tracked her debit card, and it was last used on November 17th at a supermarket. They did the smart thing. They sent a detective out, and they pulled the CCTV footage of the people exiting the store, and they got a picture of her walking out pushing a cart of groceries on November 17th. She was alone. So she texts her mom on the 8th, everything's okay. 9 days later, on the 17th, she's pushing a cart out with food. And her debit card hadn't been used since that date, on the 17th. National Park Police were given the details of her vehicle and her being a missing person. That was on November 27th, after her mama reported her missing. November 30th, 3 days later, National Park Police find Angel's car in the parking lot adjacent to the Soul Duck trailhead. They enter the car and they find 3 sandwiches from Walmart, and they also find her camping equipment. What would that tell me? Tell me that she was planning on hiking, but she wanted to check out the trailhead, hike down their way, see what was there. Come back, find a campground, and camp out. It's kind of what I would think. So somewhere on that Soul Duck trail would be your focus. But hold your taters. Police also find something very peculiar. They're searching the car and they run across an Olympic National Park maintenance workers checklist in the back, along with pool equipment. Her mother was interviewed and her mom said the police did follow up and didn't find it suspicious. And the mother said she finds this highly suspicious. So I got a question. If the police don't find it suspicious, tell us why. She wasn't out there cleaning pools, and she wasn't part of the maintenance team. So what's that stuff doing in her car? Now, the car was found on November 30th. NPS said that they immediately started a search and rescue, and they call in Olympic Mountain Rescue, and they call in a technical team to search the river area. Yeah. Here's Olympic, Port Angeles rather. She drove down this road, car went around this area, and comes up the Soul Duck River Road. This right here is Soul Duck Hot Springs. Right here is Soul Duck Falls. The trailhead to the falls is a short walk. Her car was parked at the trailhead. There is only one swimming pool, pseudo swimming pool in that area, and it's at the hot springs. The hot springs has a pool. So, no mention of her ever at the hot springs. National Park Service never said who they talked to justify that equipment being in her car. But they say it's not suspicious. They say everything's not suspicious. So Port Townsend police respond once they find the car. Kitsap County Search and Rescue and search dogs respond. And the Jefferson County Search and Rescue team responds. Now, once you walk up the Soul Duck trailhead, it's a short distance, less than a mile, and you get to the falls. Beautiful. Cascading falls into a deep gully. It's absolutely gorgeous. Now, last time I was there, they were actually searching for somebody in that gully. Somebody had fallen in. Not easy to do. You got to really try because there's barricades all around there, so you just can't fall in. But it's a very easy hike. You can't get lost. The trailhead's very well known. The trail's very obvious. Now, the National Park Service said that they put up drones in the sky. They had ground searchers, and they had canines. Well, why didn't the canines pick up a scent trail from her car? Seems like that would be pretty easy, folks. Now, Solduck has a history of very unusual disappearances. In that gorge area where the falls are, it levels off after that, and there's a river that follows the road into that area of Solduck. It's a very pretty ride. Drive up along the river, the whole time, gorgeous. The hot springs. Last time I was there, we stopped at the hot springs, not to go in the water, but to eat. They have a pretty decent restaurant there and store. There's a series of cabins there that people can stay at and a campground adjacent to it. My gut tells me that Angel was probably going to stay in that campground, which would have put her in very close proximity to that pool. Why she had equipment there, I have no idea. Now, the store and the restaurant are open to the public, as is the hot springs itself. The times I've been there, it's been pretty active, especially in the summertime. And the hot springs are a pretty nice place. Now, it's located a pretty solid 45 minutes to an hour ride from Port Angeles. It's not a quick trip. And on icy, wet roads, you got to drive very safe. And it's a little dangerous if you go too fast. Now, I watched an interview given by Angel's mom. She's very, very worried, as would any mom. I don't like the lip service that the Park Service gives her. Oh, nothing suspicious here. Why? Explain it to her. Did you interview somebody? Did you find the person who owned the equipment? Well, if you did, tell her. Oh yeah, he needed a place to store it. He needed to write out. Whatever the story is, explain it. And if you haven't found the owner of that equipment, you need to go do that, like right now. Go see who's cleaning the hot springs pool and have an investigator interview him. Yeah. So the Park Service has the Park Service police, but they also have special investigators that are like their detectives. Special investigator ought to interview the person who owns that equipment. And I don't mean interview him on the side of the road. I mean call him into your office and by himself with you, interview the guy. Oh, I get so mad. So anyhow, folks, that is Angel Boulia. She's been missing now. Last talked to her mom on November 8th. Reported missing November 27th. The lack of concern by some investigators on these cases really burns me up. I mean, truthfully, burns me up. A note. The wilderness and the associated trails, wherever you are not a playground. They are not absent associated dangers from animal predation and human behavior. That's why it's always, always, always best to go in pairs. I know you think at mid-20s, 30 years old, you own the world and nothing could happen. But just like Angel, and her mom's concern was 100% justified. The next case, another Washington case. I've never talked about this one. Gregery Brown, missing July 5th, 2005, 49 years old. Resident of Seattle, had a lot of friends. So what he was going to do is he was going to go up into the Alpine Lake Wilderness with a buddy. He borrowed another friend's car and he was going to go on a hike. Seems innocent enough. And he drove up to the end of Forest Service Road 4930, and they intended to hike. And they were going to go on the Rachel Lake Trailhead. Rachel Lake. This is Lake Cachus. This is Snoqualmie Pass. This highway right here is the main road east-west from Idaho into the Seattle-Tacoma area. Snoqualmie Pass. I was just on this month, 2 months ago. In the wintertime, this road can be very dangerous. Do not take it lightly in the wintertime. Now, this area is epically beautiful. See this? Lots of small lakes in here. Remember what I've told you about small lakes? So anyhow, Greg and his buddy park the car, and they get out and they start going towards the trailhead. Weirdly, but happens so many times, somehow or another they got separated very quickly. His friend looked for him, couldn't find him. Walked down the trail thinking maybe he's ahead. Couldn't locate him. Well, his friend reported him missing, and the Kittitas County Sheriff took over the initial search. Later turned it over to their search and rescue team. This is an area where we have talked about before, where there have been other missing people. Yes, and if you remember, the Alpine Lake Wilderness highlighted 2 people missing there last time. Helicopters, canines, the Forest Service came in. Canines couldn't pick up a scent. And because of that and other jurisdictional issues, the U.S. Forest Service actually contributed resources. Very unusual. I always like to include statements from searchers and professionals. On July 11, 2005, 6 days after Greg disappeared, Sergeant Fred Slyfield of the Kittitas County Sheriff was asked to give an interview, and he did. He said Brown was in good health, was not suicidal, and was in good shape. Article said he disappeared without a trace. 5 different Washington County search and rescue teams participated for 3.5 days. And then why did the search get suspended? Bad weather. How many times have we talked about that? Too many times to count. Now, this area is known for granite, high altitude, small lakes, and it's a pretty easy area to get to from that urban area of Seattle and Tacoma. Not that long of a drive. The danger factor comes in, when I've told you before, is that people from the valley come up and they think, oh, it's like going to be like a playground, nothing to worry about. Elevation could get to you, weather could, lack of water, dehydration, many things. Do not take it for granted. Please. Greg was never found. Friends, I keep doing these interviews. Keep doing these presentations to you about missing people. I keep saying the same things. Carry a personal locator beacon. Carry a trail guide. Tell somebody exactly where you're going and when you're going to come out. And if you don't come out, that person doesn't hesitate. They call for search and rescue. Hours can mean a lifetime. We don't waste time on these issues. We get on it right away. So, for Christmas, buy somebody a personal locator beacon if you're close with them. A hiker, backpacker, hunter. Hunters always go off trail. They're the ones that really need it, because there's so many hunters who disappear every year. In the meantime, kindness, It's that time of year. Be kind. Be polite. Be thoughtful. Everyone has their rough times around the holidays. And just remember, the person you're talking to may seem happy, but they may be having a really rough time. I appreciate you being here. Your comments are always read. Books, DVDs, Blu-rays available at missing411.com. Watch our movie, Amazon and iTunes. Be safe. Be kind. Huck says, ruff, ruff. Paulides out.